Hello everyone, hi. I welcome all of you to the channel of Wall Street Mojo.
Watch the video till the end, and also if you are new to this channel, then you can subscribe us by clicking the bell icon.
Today we have a topic which is revenue versus income. Let's try and understand this in a much more detailed format. Usually, this kind of term like revenue, income, net income, earnings. So, I mean, income, net income, earnings, they go with all similar lined up. And there's a very thin line of difference, that makes little problem to understand. Some are synonyms, some may have a thin line of difference. So that's where we are to make you understand that what exactly is going around here. See, in terms of concepts, revenue and income, they are completely different. That's why we are discussing the difference. They are two important terms that are useful in determining the financial strength of the company. If you see, the revenue is the total amount. It is what the total amount of money that has been generated by the sale of companies goods or sale of goods or services, right? And if you see, for the income can be, you can say, deducted by subtracting the total expenses from the total revenue. So you can say your revenue less all your expenses will give you your net income, or what we say income over here. So revenue, you can say, is the total amount of money that is generated by sale of companies goods or service, and income can be deducted by subtracting the total expense from the revenue generated by the company. So revenue and income, they can be found in the same financial statement, that is, which is called as the income statement. But the income, you know is subset of the revenue, whereas, if you see, for revenue is the superset of the income. So we start with the income statement with gross sales, and then we'll deduct anything as sales return, if any. Will deduct this will be less. Again, there will be deduction here, that is the sales discount, if any. And then after that we get our net sales. From the net sales, we deduct any sort of expenses, that this particular include any sort of operating costs that are involved, and after that we get called as income. Let's understand this with the help of an example. Let's take an example to illustrate this difference between revenue versus income. Let's say there's a company which is named as ABC and Company, and it has sold, let's say, 3,000 products, which may cost closely to $20 each. So your revenue will be 3,000 into 20, which comes down to $60,000. Now let's say ABC companies total cost include all the, we call as the operational costs, that include, the operational salaries, or maybe wages, or upkeeping the machines, security, the expenses of raw materials, the depreciation, what we call as the capital, right? So then the total income, the net income, will be 60,000 over here, less will be deducting some of the expenses. Let's say that is 48,000. So our final net income is going to be 12,000 here. So the income for the example shows, that how the company utilizes its resources and it reduces the expenditures. The operational cost, which is 48,000, it basically goes on with effectively increasing the, reduces the expenditure, I mean, and the operational cost to effectively increase the company's income. On the other hand, if you see, revenue only shows over here, this is the revenue, right? It only shows how many products the company has managed to sell and the price at which they are being sold, and it does not depict about utilization of the resources in the most efficient. Let's understand this difference in a infographics manner, so that we have more insight regarding this particular topic. Let's start discussing the differences. If you see, for the revenue versus net income, let's start understanding the meaning first. Meaning, revenue is the total amount of the money that is generated by the sales of the goods or services. So when you sell goods for your company, the total amount of the money that has been generated by sales of goods is going to be your revenue. But income is the net income, is the company's total profit, or you can say its earnings. If you see, for the calculation, revenue is calculated by multiplying the number of goods sold by its price. So when you multiply the number of goods sold into the price, we get sales. And to find out the net sales, we need to deduct a thing called sales return, sales discount from the gross sales. And income is calculated by subtracting the all the total cost, that is including operating expenses, admin expenses, from the total revenue. So when you deduct all of them, you get your income, and over here you get your revenue. The placement, revenue is placed in the top line of the company's financial statement. It comes on the first thing in the income statement, which is the financial statement of any company. And income is placed on the bottom line, which is at the end of the company's financial statement. So it is like the item that is below the ball game of the income statement. We already took an example. We'll try one more over here. Let's say there's a company XYZ. They have posted a total revenue of $25 billion, and at the end of the fiscal year 2017, with 6% increase in the top line growth. 25 billion is number of goods that have been sold at a particular price per unit. But for the income, XYZ, let's say, has posted 6 billion in total income at the end of the fiscal year 2017, with 4.5% increase in the bottom line growth. So this 6 billion comes after deducting 25 minus 19 billion. 19 billion must be your expenses, and post facto you will have your income as $6 billion. Just a hypothetical example. Now, what are the alternative names? See, some companies use the top line instead of the revenues. What is the top line of the company? They may ask, they may, there's some, you see, there's a thing called lingo. Lingo means the language. Like every country have different language. Every state in India has different sort of language. In the similar fashion, finance has its own language in which they talk. So there are terms like pitch, home runs, or maybe you can say, as I told you, stacking your sandbags, or probably over here, which is used as the top line, which is your revenue. So all this are a part of your lingo. That's a language that has been used. So sometimes you need to know all those stuff, because if you're having a conversation with any financial person, if he's saying that what is the top line of the company, then you need to be aware about the fact that he's talking about revenue. And sometimes company use over here as the bottom line. So revenue, whenever someone says what is the top line, you say revenue. What is the bottom line, you say the which is a subset and which is a superset. Revenue is the superset of the income. Revenue is what? The superset of the income, and the income is the subset of the revenue. After discussing all the topics, all the differences, I want to make a final conclusion on this regard. My final thoughts on this. Even if many people use this term interchangeably, but if you ask an individual that has studied finance, he or she would tell you that revenue is a big picture, whereas if you see, the income shows the financial direction of the company. So, since the income statement is one of the four statements that every investor should look at, you should check the revenue and the income both. So, it may so happen that company earns, let's say, huge, massive revenues, but does not generate any income, rather than a loss. It may generate loss. So, what if you just equate the revenue and the income? Now, what would you say in this particular case? So, like income, even loss would come after deducting all the expenses from the revenue of the company. So if the total expenses exceeds the total revenue, we will get a. So that's it for this particular topic of revenue versus income.
So that's it for this particular topic. If you have learned and enjoyed watching this video, please like and comment on this video and subscribe to our channel for the latest updates. Thank you, everyone. Cheers.